Welcome, guys. Today I have two of the most special people that I know of in this podcast. People who have been eternal part of this journey of podcasting, raising awareness about BIM, and without whom this podcast would not have been possible. So I have Komal. Some of you who have listened to my previous podcasts or YouTube videos, you would recognize Komal's voice because she's done a lot of YouTube videos. In fact, all YouTube videos. And we have Sandeep. And Sandeep is the newer addition to our team. Not so new now, but he is the person behind our season 2 podcast. He has some really, really important things to take care of. And welcome, guys. I am so glad we are doing this.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Hey everyone. Hey Chetna. Hey Sandeep.
Hi Komal. Hi Chit.
Hi.
Okay, I don't want to introduce you guys. I want you both to introduce yourself. Let's start with Komal.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Who are you?
Hello everyone. My name is Komal and I'm an architect by education, and I've recently completed my post-graduation in construction project management, and I work on a position of BIM coordinator and architectural technologist in BIMwise. And before I start my introduction and before I share my journey with you, I would like to say that everything I express here is like totally my opinion and doesn't relate to or doesn't reflect the companies that I have worked with, because I had a pretty good experience with every company that I've worked with.
Okay, and Sandeep.
Hello everyone. My name is Sandeep. I'm a recent graduate from University of Ottawa from civil engineering background, and I'm an investor into BIM. I'm working as a BIM coordination specialist, and I would say I'm still in early stages of my BIM career. It was not my intentional path which I wanted to travel, but it fascinated me.
It's the same thing.
So you guys did not choose, but BIM chose you. I think it was the same with me. I didn't choose to be a BIM professional, but I was thrown into it and then I fell in love. So more like an Indian arranged marriage. Somebody else put me into that marriage and then I liked the person. So I'm with the person now. I want to know about your journey. I know like BIMwise is part of your journey of being where you are right now. But let's start with Komal. We want to know about your journey.
Yeah, I would love to share. So, as I already mentioned, that I was architecture student back in 2013 to 2019. But when I started my journey, I was really clear that I want to do the designing thing. Like I want to create a 3D models, because in my first company that I worked in India, I was really clear about the thing that I'm good with the designing and I'm good with the elevation and 3D stuff. But when I came to Canada and I started working here, I realized that yes, I am good with the 3D, but I'm more good with learning the new softwares. So then I came to know about the BIM field. There's a lot of scope right now in industry, and yes, Canada is shifting a lot towards the BIM. So yes, so I thought, why not try this one? That if I can do better in softwares, then should go for the BIM job. Then I worked in BIMwise for a year, and now I think I will pursue this, and I want to experience more in this.
Okay. Given a choice in your life, would you want to be more like a BIM professional doing coordination and doing, all that troubleshooting part of BIM? Or would you want to move back to being the architect, or you want to have like a little bit of both?
Actually, I am like a foodie person. I'll say that I want to have both.
Ah.
I don't want to stick in only one, because we cannot say that we are in architecture field, we can avoid BIM, especially in coming years. We cannot. These two things will go side by side away, because BIM is like a process. We cannot say that it's a separate thing or it's a separate world which is going next to the architecture or construction. These industries working together, and in future it will be really difficult to separate these terms. So it's not a single term or it's not a separate term. So I think I'll get a chance to work in both.
What about you, Sandeep? Your BIM journey, and then we'll chat more about that.
Yeah, as I said, like BIM was not my first choice when I started masters or like when I'm doing my bachelor's back home. But I was always interested in design side. Site job is good, but like always interested in design side. That led me to learn the softwares while pursuing the bachelor's. Like I learned ETAB, STAD, obviously AutoCAD, those softwares. When I was learning those softwares, I was like, yes, this field is like, it's interesting. I want to pursue my career towards the design side. And I did a project based on those softwares during my bachelor's too. And yeah, I worked for some time as a highway engineer in India. I didn't work on the softwares, but yeah, did the drawings in AutoCAD or highway drawings. My master's is comprised of mixed courses. It's not like a special field. There is structures, there is hydrology, like transportation is there. It was pretty much good, but I never lost the interest on design side and the softwares too. But after finishing my master's, I was looking for the job on design side. I didn't find much with this ETAPS and STAD. Like, I felt like it's not going that much here. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but like from what I saw, then I was okay. Then what's going on in the math? What I want to do to move on in my career? And it's like I saw like okay, BIM. Everyone is talking like BIM. Even some companies, like small companies too, they started to adopt the BIM. And I was like, okay, let me try how this is going to be. So I started learning Revit. It pretty much drew my attention. And as you all know, like BIM is not in budding stages too. It's growing. It's growing rapid pace
Pretty
now.
fast.
Yeah, in our industry. Then I was like, let me see how this Revit goes. I started to learn pretty much luckily in my early stages of learning, like I landed in BIMwise. It's good, like, so it's giving me the real time experience, right? Like there is a difference. Like you learn and you practice on rogue models and you are in a company and working on a real time model. There's difference between two of them. On this side, like when you're in a company with the real time experience, you can learn pretty much fast.
And you get to know that BIM is more than just a software. Actually, like I would say, more than just working in one software or working in one process. It's more about how we are loading and extracting information in our, not just 3D models, but in the whole asset that we are creating, the whole digital asset that we are creating.
Yeah, I think it's about what we want to achieve. Then we choose the software.
Right.
It's completely different perspective seeing from outside and seeing from inside world. Like when you see outside, people might feel like BIM, like it's okay. But when you start to work on that, like what it is, then it really wows you. Like okay, this can do a lot, like lot than what I.
Okay, we have to talk about our podcast. Then Komal was working closely with me, and we were editing the season 1, which came together really well. And now Sandeep, you started doing the season 2, and I just want to know from each one of you, like, do you have like any favorite episodes or like a guest that you really liked, and you thought that, oh, you know what, I would want to meet them and talk to them about this, or like, this guy talked about this and I wanted to ask this question. And you know how it is, we get the guests, they come in, they talk about certain things, and then sometimes we lose touch or we don't talk about those things ever again. So do you have like any takeaways or any favorites from any season?
Yeah, I do have like one guest from our season 1. That was the second episode in which he mentioned that if you are in a BIM field, you can't say that okay, I know this one particular software and I'm good with that and I will work in this software till the time I'm working in this field. He said that in every 6 months, he learned like at least one software. From that particular episode, I'm doing that. I'm trying to learn like every new plugin and every new software that is coming to market and people are using it, because we are working in a full society, like we are working in a field. We cannot say that this software is good for our company, then we'll work in this only, because when we get a project from other company and when we work with the other companies, maybe they are using the different software, so we need to learn that too. For that we need to be very quick learner with the new software. We need to be open to adapt new technology also. So yeah,
that was Geet from our season 1. Amazing guy. He's somebody I have learned a lot from. I mean, he's somebody that I would go if I want some new technology to be reviewed or asked that have you used this. I really rely on his opinion, and that is, I think that's very important in this field, especially because in every field technology is evolving so fast. Every 6 months you have something new coming up. Every year we have a new iPhone and a new Samsung phone, man, and with new features, and you have to keep up with that. So just imagine how fast the technology is growing.
Every year we get a different version of Revit with the new add-ons.
With new add-ons, right? And what about you, Sandeep? You have any particular favorites?
I won't say favorite guest, but I would go like favorite topic maybe.
Oh, okay.
Digital twin concept, I found it very interesting. I didn't work on his podcast though, but the first episode of season 2.
Kirk Stocky.
The digital twin concept. That was very interesting because it's a good idea, right? Like always learn from your mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You did a construction later in the stages, you will be knowing like this might be done differently. It should have made the design or like the building very much epic. So digital twin is like when you're doing a similar type of construct. Okay, I made the mistake over here. I can repair that mistake and like doing the best out of that.
Also, digital twin is a very interesting concept with no clear definition. This is what a digital twin is. There are podcasts that just talk about digital, and it's something that is catching not just the industry but even the government attention right now. For me, like right now, if somebody asks me what's a digital twin, basically a virtual replica of something that exists in real life. It could be an asset that we can see and touch. It could also be a process. See, this is my personal understanding and my personal feeling that if you are adopting a particular process from step A to B to C, if you can replicate that process on a virtual platform and add the information that you require, you're pretty much creating a digital twin of that process. And it is still like not many people understand or fully comprehend, including me, what digital twin is, because like we said, we are all learning in this process. We're all understanding what this really means. So what is your takeaway from that?
Those really like there are some issues. They said like security concerns, like information security concerns with the digital twin. Is that like pretty much everywhere nowadays? I don't think so. There is not much privacy in the world. If someone is talking to you, like, it's not like you're safe anywhere. Like with the technology, it's not safe anywhere. I want to see like how they're gonna overthink, because it's a very good concept, the digital twin. But this thing privacy is like most concerned. Like no one wants to take a chance on the privacy. My information want to be safe. Like I don't want to give this information to you. That's the only thing like which is pulling down like a beautiful concept. I want to see like how it overcoming, and also like a standards wise.
I think it was about time that all these companies, like, it just cannot be the Autodesks, Bentleys, and NEMS checks of the world. It should not just be their responsibility to develop technology for architects, engineers, for the construction world. It has to be everybody's responsibility. I mean, there are so many startups trying to solve one problem that we have of the 10 million problems that we face in our industry, especially in construction. I mean, this is one thing that I heard, and this is not from the podcast, but from some other webinar that I was listening to, that when we compare the technology, like how technology has been adopted in construction and how it's being adopted in automotive or in banking or even in aeronautics, we cannot make that comparison, because one, construction happens where there are no utilities. You have temporary utilities. On a construction site, many times you won't have internet, and where you don't have internet, just think about how limited your options are with the technology. Now with the whole fiber optics and Wi-Fi's and everything, it's just been recently that construction sites have internet and have full on running electrical power. And that too also if we are near a city hub. But go to a construction site on a remote area, where I know even during COVID, there were kids in remote areas who didn't have internet for online school, right? Yeah. They are inside a home. So just imagine on a construction site, it pretty much even today, and especially if you're not in a city area, if you are going to a remote area, we cannot get technology as efficient as it will be in an office where we have all the facilities. Even if there is a factory where you're producing cars or parts or something, it's a controlled environment. Construction site is not a controlled environment. So getting technology on a construction site, first, it's a challenge. And technology only develops with testing. Testing is a big part of it. A new technology comes into field, you test it, people give a feedback, it gets better, it comes back. So unless some technology is being tested and tried and we have the results, how are we trying to evolve it? So I feel in AEC, with like BIM might be just this big log in this campfire of technology, but I think there are so many things that do not even include information modeling that technology is making better now.
But I think on the brighter side, we are like more aware now, especially after the COVID.
Yes.
Like we know that there can be these difficulties which we'll face if we are in a world where we can interact properly. Like during the COVID, we had a situation where we cannot interact. We had to follow the social distancing and stuff like that. So I think after after the COVID, we are looking for more technology. We are looking for solutions like the scan to BIM process. As you said, that we have more facilities in our office space to work on our projects. So this scan to BIM, we can say that this thing, some of our problems, like we can work in our office and we can see our construction site. We can see where we need to do the changes, and we don't have to, go on the site. Like we cannot avoid 100% site visit, but can save some of our time and some of other people's time too. So I think we are getting where we should be.
Yes. Yeah. So, Sandeep, you want to say something?
It's true. Like for it, we never thought it can happen, right? Like you have to go to the site, like for sure. Like even now, you go to the site, but it can be possible to do it like with the technology thing. Like we can sit in the home and like you can collaborate between all of us. Like it can still happen. We always thought, oh, you all have to be in an office space, like to make it work. But now, yeah, it can work.
Yes. Okay, coming back to our podcasts, what do you think we have not covered? I mean, we have not covered a lot of ground, but something that you guys think that we need to work on, or something that, this category of guests we haven't seen?
Okay, well, I think we can see more female candidates.
Okay.
I would like to say more female candidates and see how they are working in this field. And other than that, I think we can do a podcast with the founder of different plugins. I really enjoyed the podcast of people working with the software, working with the plugin. But I would like to know the mindset of the creators too.
Okay, nice. What about you, Cindy? What do you think we can do better on?
The podcast, like I'm not sure like how much I'm correct in this, as I think I told you too. The demolition industry, like if the BIM is contributing to demolition, lots of demolition happen. Still here in Northward too. I want to see like how BIM contributes to demolition industry. I want to see like is there anyone like who is using BIM for like demolition.
Demolition
Industry.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, we gotta find some guests who would be using some kind of laser technology, some kind of point clouds. I know some of our guests have used their point clouds for demolition but yeah, I think we gotta find that. Okay, as somebody who has been recently a student, and as somebody who has been also an international student to Canada, do you guys have something to say about the whole BIM journey and people who are coming after you? Like, is there something that they need to focus on, or they need to work more on, get not necessarily into BIM, but into the field of their own choice in the industry? So structural engineers coming in and getting into structural engineering, architects getting into architecture, MEP engineers getting into MEP, or any field that they want. Do you guys have any suggestions?
I'm gonna go first. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. To be honest, when I started, I can't even remember that how many jobs that I've applied for, but I do remember that I heard back from at least 10 of them, and I got interviewed by 3 of them. That like after my post graduation was done. So yeah, I can say that for the fresher without the Canadian experience, the success rate would be like 2 to 3%. But if you try with good knowledge of industry, and you'll land somewhere on a pretty good job, and you can start your career from there. But one thing I would like to say, because I am an international student and I have a lot of friends who are international students and they are working in this field or in any field, you say. But I want to say something like, do not make your journey all about your struggles, because one thing I've learned from you, Chitna, that do smart work than the hard work. Of course, we cannot rely on smart work only. We need to do hard work too, but I prefer to do smart work than the hard work now. So I think we can enjoy our journey. We got a different journey. We should enjoy this, and we can do better if we channelize our thoughts and if we channelize our process, that how we want to achieve our goal.
Okay, what about you, Cindy?
My job journey is pretty much exhausting and long, because it took me a while to land into a job, because it took me almost 3 years to get into a job. Been applying jobs, but here like coming as an international student, like you don't have a Canadian experience. Pretty much makes your life a little bit hard to get into the industry, because I see the point. It takes something for them to trust you without experience, like where they can find people with lots of experience. I did a mistake to restrict myself. I want to go only to the transportation side. That was the mistake I made in my first year when I was looking for a job. Even like I went into few interviews, and I was not much interested into other construction side, like because I think maybe because I had worked with the transportation side back in India. And also like most of my courses, like I involved with the transportation, so I had that interest. So I think I restricted myself, which was a big mistake. Like later I realized, like it's not it's not what you want. Like you have to open. I would say like be open to the opportunities. Don't constrain yourself. Be open because you can always learn. Nothing is too late to learn. Like even something like you don't know, you can learn it. You just need an opportunity to go learn. So just be open, go into the field. It teaches. You learn something, and when you start working, it automatically teaches you. When you go.
Yeah, I think both of you make some really good points here. I think, yeah, do not make your journey all about struggles. Well, it is important, and for some people, it is really important. Especially, I would say, international students who come from developing countries. The money that they bring in cuts down to less than 50%. It's expensive to live in Canada. It's not cheap. Your housing is not cheap. Education is not cheap. You pay 3 times, 2 times, 3 times the fee. However, not losing focus is important. Not losing the sight of where you want to be is important. And enjoying, like, even a small survival job that you do, enjoying that job is very, very important. There are some skills, Komal, I have learned in a job that had nothing to do with AEC that helped me in my today's journey. Every work that you do, whether somebody is coming from a background like both of you have really good degrees from back in India, from good universities, bachelor's in architecture, bachelor's in civil engineering, but still putting that crown on the table. Well, I'm reading Indira Nooyi's My Life in Full, and she says, when I come home, I just put my crown, of CEO. I just put it in the garage. Putting your crown on the table and working towards your goal and trying not to lose focus of where you want to be. And maybe this is just one step in that. And yes, being more open to the opportunities. Like, for example, not ever in my dreams. I worked in India for like 6 years. I was a head of an architecture studio. I never in my life thought I would ever be learning a programming language. But yeah, like just being open to what new comes to your way and just trying to make today better than yesterday. Getting better at what you do will help a lot. And this is not just an international student, but this even a resident, like Canadian student. Not losing your focus is so important, and being open to new opportunities is equally important. Let's talk about some fun stuff here. If you have to pick up one favorite episode or one favorite guest, who will it be?
You won't be in trouble, right?
We won't be in trouble. Why will we be in trouble? Nobody can penalize you for having a favorite.
I like the one which we did with the matinee homes.
So you mean with Derek? Oh, okay.
Because BIM in low-rise housing, from what I read, I thought like it's going to be only high-rise constructions. And Matt being a big builder, they implementing BIM. It reaches to common people. I'm not saying house buyer is going to understand what BIM is, not completely, but they implementing BIM, it's going to solve a few housing problems.
Okay. And what is your one favorite? We're not talking about, and you have to name.
I have multiple faces in my mind, but
always, Komal can never decide.
Never did. Yeah, I like the episode from a season 1, Alina's episode. Not because I'm favoring a girl.
Well, you can. I can,
but I would not like to mention that. But the real reason behind that is because I did my post-graduation in construction project management. The way she explained that how things happen in the construction field or in the construction office, that made me realize if you are in an architecture office, if you are working on a project, you don't need to give everything in a single model. I really like that point which she mentioned there, that as a contractor, we don't want to get everything in a single model. We want the thing that relates to our work only. So I like that point. And as I mentioned earlier, the point about the learning, I like that point too. And one more from the season 1 episode.
No, you can't get away. See, I like Sandeep for at least giving me one answer. You can speak, but you have to choose one. That this is my favorite guest.
Let me mention the third one, the top.
My God, like always, choices. Yes.
So yeah, let me give you the third name also, so that I can have my top 3 finalists. And the third name is
oh my God. Oh, for everybody who's listening to this podcast, Komal can never make up her mind. She can never have one favorite.
No, it's not like I cannot make my mind. It was I have multiple favorites. Our season 1 and season 2 also was super hit. So we can say that I have
Okay.
multiple.
Safe
So
game.
that's
Huh?
Okay, yeah.
the
So,
third one was the Leslie Wright, the one working with the city of Windsor, and the point where that he mentioned that the municipal corporation process is where our projects getting slower. Like we need to push at that area more harder so that we can get better result and the faster result.
mhm,
So, but if I see overall episode, of course, I like Alina's episode more, but
mhm.
I can never say that I have one single person.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay. See, I don't have a favorite episode. My favorite episode is still, I don't think I can say that this was better than that. And I'm not being diplomatic here. I still think I haven't found that one guest that I would be in total awe. I would say my favorite episode was, or I won't say favorite. I would say this is the episode that opened my eyes a lot, and that was the one with Joe Magas. Joe Magas from Fusion Tech. He showed me even in our pre-podcast interviews, and that there is more than one way to approach the process of BIM. There is more than one way that I know. When I talked to him, I did get this motivation of learning more than one BIM authoring tools, getting more understanding of the BIM process. If I learn more than one programs, like the big, I mean, there are small plugins and small software here and there, but full BIM authoring tool, it is responsibility of us BIM managers and BIM technologists that we need to know more than what we already, and it has to be from various umbrellas. It cannot be just from one company or one umbrella. We have to know different workflows. We have to know that. So that was something that I really enjoyed talking to. I mean, I enjoyed rest of the guests too. Okay, like I said, I still am looking for that one guest that I would be like, this is my most favorite one. All the guests are amazing. I just want to take also an opportunity to thank each one of them, starting from Brent, Yeet, Leslie. There are 9 episodes for the first season. We're almost at 15 episodes for this season. Each one of these guests have shown so much patience and respect. Actually, they made this podcast possible. Without their input, it would have been like not possible. I think these guys have, each one of them had something really nice to learn, something that I didn't know, and that is the whole journey of being a BIM student. They themselves consider that they are the BIM student. Any parting words before we go? Because we can keep on talking all day about it. Just because you guys are part of BIMWise, I'm going to excuse you from the impossible questionnaire. And also because you guys have done all the research, you guys know all the answers. You guys know answers more than me. So I'm not asking you the impossible questionnaire. But before we go, I do want to know, what is your rose, your bud, and your thorn of being a BIM student?
I'll start with the benefit of being a BIM student. Benefit of being a BIM student is you are open to work in every field.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. Because if you are a BIM student, if you are learning the process, if you are in this process and you are open to learn every new technology, you can work with every part, every individual of this industry. Like if it's a contractor, if it's a engineer, if it's a architecture, you can work with each of them and you can learn from every single individual. That I
Mm-hmm.
think is the main benefit of being a BIM student. Something I see in future being a BIM student. Well, I see I am open to the digitization process if I'm not restricting myself to the workflow, to the process we are using right now, and I'm open to learn new things. I think this will be helpful for me in the future too, and I can see myself going pretty easy in future. If I'll restrict myself that no, I cannot change my workflow, I'm not, so I think that will make my process a little bit difficult in future. future.
Sandeep will tell me his rose, his bud, and his horn.
Rose, as I said, learning new software is always a fascination for me. I'm in a very better place and better phase
Mm-hmm.
because I'm doing the job which I want to do, and like I'm learning a lot. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
happy phase now, which allows me to open myself to new softwares or like new technologies or whatever it's coming, because
Okay.
not just one software, right? Like it's gonna grow. But is like I want to
But
see this collaboration thing, like how this software to software thing going on. Like Revit can link to like other softwares, like
mm-hmm.
to CAD, CAD to robot, robot to like Revit to ETABS. I want to see that more going forward,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, how we can interlink, how these softwares can incorporate, because it makes your life easy.
So for you, the bud is exploring the interoperability part
Yes.
of BIM, of different programs. That is great. What is your thorn of being the BIM student?
Song is I'm still learning, not even like a year experienced. Like even
Mm-hmm.
not just with the job, like even with the software too. My
Mm-hmm.
hands on the software. It's been few months.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are challenges which I
Mm-hmm.
know like with some work put in, like I'm gonna overcome in coming months and working on that at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
at the moment challenge is the software still. Like me not
Okay.
being like complete into the software. There's still a lot which I have to learn. Yeah, that's a challenge. Me not being complete with the software still.
Okay. So I think learning is your both your rose and your thorn.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's come back to Komal.
The challenge that I faced during my process of being a BIM student is whenever I started learning a new project, learning a new software or plugin, I used to contact the companies that I want to explore this plugin, I want to learn this software. Sometimes it's already available on the website that you can get your trial version for 14 days or a maximum of 21 days. But I feel like for some softwares, we take more than 21 days or more than a month to learn. So I think
Mm-hmm.
there I find difficult to explore their plugin or explore their software. It should be more than 21 days, or it should be open or learning process, and there should be
Mm-hmm.
more of the description or the tutorials available on their website, and that can make the process easy. That's the main challenge that I'm facing these days.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's an interesting one. Now, I think I'm a BIM student too. And for me, yes, the rose is that it is something that I enjoy working in. It is something that when I wake up in the morning and I have a new challenge to face and a new problem to solve, it motivates me to put on my running shoes and go for it. The bud that I want to see is more collaboration, something that Sandeep was talking, that all these tools are amazing. Some tools are good in one task, the other tools are good in other tasks. If these technologies can come together for more interoperable workflows, more interoperability, I would say, it will make a lot of our lives easy. I really want to see more of interoperability, open source file systems, more data and geometry getting transferred from one software to the other. So that's the bud. That's going to be the benefit for future. My biggest thorn of being a BIM student is that, how do I explain this to my mom? I am very serious about this, guys. A lot of people don't understand a BIM professional, what a BIM professional does, what is their job responsibility, what do they actually do. We are not just Revit troubleshooters. Okay, we will do that for sure, we will do that, but we are not just Revit troubleshooters. And 90% of my friends don't understand what I do. I have to just say, yes, I'm an architectural professional or I'm a construction professional. But then those are the people, those are not even in this industry. But even some of the senior people in our industry or even junior people, they don't understand what it is to be a BIM professional. What do you exactly want to, what is this career path, and what are the responsibilities and what are the strengths? And so, yeah, that is the biggest thorn that I have right now.
I think it's gonna change soon.
It is going to change. We are trying to change it. I am so glad we did this today, man. I am so happy. Again, thank you so much, guys. You guys are the most important part of the BIM student podcast, our organization, BIM Wise, and everything that we do at work. We wouldn't be anywhere without both of you. This is going to be a shout out for Asta. Asta was with us for 3 months. We really miss you, Asta. We really miss you on our team. Komal misses you a lot. But you guys have made everything that we've done possible. I want to really thank you both from the bottom of my heart. And you too, Astha. You guys have done some amazing work. I might be just the face for all these endeavors, and I am just the face. You guys are the real strength behind this face.
Thank you so much for having us here, like the team behind the scenes. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Sweetna. Thank you for the opportunity and the time and the space you give for us to learn and project ourselves. I will be thankful for having me here and for having me in Bimba as well.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.